You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial-grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, you know, to me, if this is not our military, then it's even more scary, and we need the answers, frankly.
All right, Rich McHugh, thanks so much.